Today we are going to discuss the cracking of alkanes or hydrocarbons. This is in continuation, Walaikum Assalam. This is in the continuation of the reactions of alkanes which we were studying. Okay, but you know that the cracking, it is the process in which long chain hydrocarbons, which are less useful, they are converted to short chain, which are more useful. So please write down the process in which short chain hydrocarbons the process in which the short chain hydrocarbons, which are less useful, converted to short chain hydrocarbons,
which are less useful.
Yes. Converted to short chain hydrocarbons, which are more useful. The process in which short chain hydrocarbons, which are less useful, converted to long chain hydrocarbons, which are more useful. You want to ask something? Excuse me? आप कुछ पूछ रहे? There are two conditions for cracking, बच्चों. Number one, there are two conditions for cracking. Number one, high temperature and high pressure. Number two, high temperature and catalyst. Aluminum oxide and silicon dioxide. So under these two conditions, they can crack. So it's a simple process, but you remember, I share a data, suppose data with the oil refinery, when they do the fractional distillation, they get all the fractions, like kerosene oil, petrol, diesel, everything, right? But once, in order to get the bigger fractions like bitumen, like lubricating oil, they're not very useful, okay? So they have to convert them into the useful fractions like petrol, etc. So the only difference is that their number of carbon in the chain. So they have to reduce the number of carbon in the chain. So they have to crack the process, right? So for example, C6H14 is cracked to produce the two shorter fractions. Look at the shorter fractions. So in shorter fractions, you can write either alkanes or alkenes. For example, C4H10, it's an alkane. And then the other one, C2H4, it is an alkene. So this is ethane. This is butane. And this is ethene that is formed. Okay? So whenever they undergo the cracking, it's a long chain alkane that cracks. In the shorter fraction, you see One of the product is alkane and the other one is alkene. You can write any combination at this moment. For example, I can write C6H14 cracks to give one carbon alkane, which is methane, and then we can write C4H8, which is an alkene, C3H6, which is an alkene, and C2H4. So you can write any products of cracking. This is an alkane, and these shorter products are alkenes. So these shorter products are alkenes. So whenever a long chain alkane cracks, a mixture of shorter alkenes and alkenes are formed. At times, if the alkane is not formed, so it can turn into, for example, C6H14 when passed to a high pressure and high temperature. So they break down, for example, look at this. C4H8, it is an alkene. C2H4, it is an alkene, along with hydrogen gas. So this is another product. When the products are all alkenes, then along with this is the hydrogen gas. Okay? Here it is. So this is how the process of cracking takes place.
सही ऊपर वाला थोड़ा zoom in कर देंगे ये जो आपने tracking को कर लिया तो नीचे लिखा है
Okay, I'll send you in the end or take the picture. I need silence.
He's the one talking. मुझे किस देखते जा रहे हैं?
Okay, now please, parents.
Will you send these notes?
So this is how the process of cracking takes place. So shorter alkenes, and then hydrogen gas it is produced, which can be used in the Haber process, right? So usually examiner asks you the question like this. For example, if this is methane, this is C2H4, and this is C3H6. What is this X formed? Yes. 2 plus 3, 5 plus 1, 6. So C6H14. Or they can ask you like this in terms of mole fraction. For example, this is CH4, this is C2H4, this is C3H6, and they don't ask you the moles. They give you the mole fraction. For example, 0.25 moles of this, 0.50 moles of this, and 0.25 moles of this. So these are the mole fractions of these. What is the value of X? What is the value of this X? These are the mole fractions, but these are not number of moles. So mole fractions have to be converted to a whole number. We can't use these fractions as a whole. So divide by the smallest value, which is 0.25. So if I divide them by 0.25, what is the answer? 1, 2, 1. So here is the 1 mole, here are the 2 moles, here is the 1 mole. So how many total carbon then? 3, 4, 7 plus 1, 8. So C8, H is what? 8 is what? 18. C8H18, right? It cracks to give this. Okay, just added carbon and hydrogen to get this X. Okay, I converted the mole fraction into a whole number and then added carbon and hydrogen to get the X. Okay, so this is how the cracking takes place. So that's all about the alkanes and their cracking. Okay, now we are turning on to the next, which is alkene. Okay, alkene का topic है हमारा